My girl Loren LoRosa.
Grinding. Brown girl grinding. This is literally a movement.
Making a way for the ladies out there.
I'm the homegirl that knows a little bit about everything and everybody. Brown girl grinding with Loren LoRosa and get it popping.
Well, first of all, thank you for joining me. I don't know if how much you know about my platform, but we are relatively new. So this will air on my YouTube channel, and then the audio will air on my podcast version of the show. It's called Brown Girl Grinding with Loren LoRosa.
My background is Instagram, just so you know, but keep going.
So you're there with us. You know what's going on. So I'm so excited to have you, especially because you're ingrained in such an important piece of history. I want to take it back from the beginning, before we get to where we are right now with Essence in the docuseries. Yeah. I know that you came up during the time of like 106 in Park, and like really like during that time where we culture-wise, I think we had a little bit more control media-wise. There wasn't as much going on. It was a bit more contained. Yeah. I would love to just hear about your experience during that time to now. Like, what are some of the things that you learned then that every single day in your position at Essence, you're like, look at God being funny? Because when it was happening back then, I didn't understand it.
This is so good. Yeah, I mean, 106 in Park definitely was, it was kind of like, I always wanted to go to an HBCU, but I didn't. So like my time at 106 in Park was that space for me. And the thing that I always carried with me is, and it sounds cliche, but cliches are cliches because it's true. If you love what you are doing, if you feel like you are living in your purpose and the job that you are doing has an impact on your community or a group of people that you really, really care about, all the hard work is worth it. Because it's not, you can attest to this. You are in media, you are a content creator. It is hard work. Some days you don't feel like doing X, Y, Z. However, your why always has to be bigger than the thing you don't feel like doing. You know what I mean? So I think that's the main thing I've always carried with me. I actually started in college majoring in music because I'm a singer. And I remember one day someone came.
I saw you said you were going to be either the next Mary J. Blige or you were going to be.
Oh, you saw that? Okay. Yeah,
I saw that, and I was like, wait, is that her just
Mary J.
because
Blige.
Like, those were the options at the time, or can she really sing?
Oh, I can sing. Okay. I don't know if we got clearance or anything, but I'll sing something for you in a little bit.
You welcome to drop a little. You can do a little.
Listen, I'm gonna sing it for you. Okay, so someone came to my Black Student Union at the time and said, "Oh, we're looking for an audience for this show," and it was 106 in Park. And I sat in that audience and I just fell in love with the culture there. Like, work culture is so important to me. Everybody should have KPIs. People look at KPIs like, this is what my manager wants from me. No, everybody has KPIs. What are the metrics that you need so that you can perform at a job, so that you can thrive at a job? And culture is important for me. Leadership and having a leader that moves you, that inspires you, that acknowledges you. I have that through and through with Caroline Wonga, our fearless woman king, queen.
That's very unique.
Yeah, it is. And that is a sad thing. And I really became present to that right after George Floyd, because George Floyd, as a Black journalist, we all couldn't turn a blind eye to it. We had to cover it. We were in it. We were in our emotions. And knowing that after that happened, Essence calls an emergency meeting. Stop everything. We're going to get on the phone and we're going to all talk about what we're going through right now, knowing that that's what I had the privilege of. And I think I posted something about it. Like, I'm so grateful to be at a place where they understand how these incidents, how these moments really impact us on a basic human level. And everybody in my comments like, wow, my job is going on like nothing's happening. Like,
my job didn't go on like nothing happened. They didn't do the whole. There was never a real acknowledgement outside of, we need to talk about this because this is what the world is talking about and it's going to get the numbers. And it was very different for me as an experience. I think, I don't care where I go in life, I'll never forget this time, because I was the only. Van had been gone, Raquel left, and then George Floyd happened. And for so long, I had them there as like, I can look to them, and then they left. And then this, Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd happened, and it's just like, okay, Loren, go. And I'm like, okay, can we have a conversation first about, there was a lot of things I had to learn live and in person and in the action, while also being live and in person on the air, speaking for everybody Black, because I was the only, not the only because we have Charles, but I'm a bit more opinionated, a bit more like to the point. So there was a lot of different things that I would say that I knew he wasn't going to say. And learning how to be in that space while being on air, and you can attest to this, you've been through so many different decades of, and that's why I think Essence is amazing.
Not so many different decades. You had to say it like that, but yes.
Not like that. Well, you've seen so many monumentous moments in the culture, not different decades.
And that's a blessing.
I'm trying to age you. But you look amazing. Listen, I'm not aging you whatsoever. I think it's more so to me to just like, to hear you say that, it's just like, wow, like I can't even imagine what that's like, because they did everything they could, but when you're white in a situation like that, you don't even know what I should be doing. You know what I mean? So can you talk a little bit about like, so, in your time at Essence around, that time of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and just understanding the background of Essence. I've been watching the series that you guys have on home, and I think that number one, if any journalist or any person has not watched it, it does a real disservice to like where media, not just Black media, but media is today. Because to really understand how we got a Shade Room, how we got to a Hollywood Unlocked, or Black Twitter being such a thought-provoking space, you have to talk about Essence, right? But I think that is very lost in the conversation today around Essence. But hearing you say things like they instantly called a meeting, and me in journalism knowing how that doesn't really happen, how difficult is it for you to be a champion of Essence, even during them times when people are like, oh, Essence is not important. Essence isn't the leading, thought-provoking media space, but it is, we throw our legendary spaces and our icons away. So being kind of in that middle point of knowing the history and how important it is, being on the inside, but also seeing the rest of the world. Day to day, what's your journey like being like, hold on, wait, do you understand that this is Essence? And do you understand what we do internally and why that's important for the world?
Well, oddly enough, it's not hard for me. It's not hard at all, because the receipts don't lie. We still have the biggest per day attendance festival. That is not by accident. That is a rite of passage. I feel like our community knows, right? We're still the last standing Black-owned magazine on stands. Like, you can't really contest the receipts. So it's definitely not hard for me at all. And I think that time of Essence, if there was anything that would shut people up about our perseverance, about our importance to our community, to the culture, it is this historic artifact that people can watch week over week. And I'm so glad that you brought up, if you are a journalist, this is a must see. I know that they're going to be using this in media studies. We got an email that a professor is going to be using this in media studies to help their children to understand the importance of Black media. And Black-owned media is just so important. And watching this documentary really highlights why even today, more so than ever, it's really, really important. So I cape for Essence. I cape for Black women. I cape for my community. So it's not hard for me.
Was this always your mission when you started out in journalism, was to be, in spaces that were like for you, like, a champion of you, or did you just kind of end up in these spaces and, it felt good?
I feel like it's both. I am incredibly lucky to go from a space like 106 in Park, and then I was doing BET Awards red carpets and Soul Train Awards red carpets. It's music, it's us, it's our culture. I've never had to dumb myself down. I never had to like code switch or like, and that's just, it's really is a privilege. And I know, you get advice, and you as you move through your career, and you're like, oh, you have all this Black-owned and Black facing things that might not be the best move for you. You might want to diversify. And I've never felt that pressure. I just, as I said, the main thing is just following your passion, follow where your KPIs are met, where either way it's going to be hard work. It is not easy. My passion is to tell stories through music and tell stories through moving images, and that's video. And then I also get to host. It's just like there's just so many things that really feed my soul and help me fulfill on my purpose here. So I know what a privilege that is.
And I know in today's time, I know we have to wrap up soon, but I have just 2 more questions. In today's world, everything on social is driven by who's talking about what. The shade room is growing so big, and these other platforms grow so big because the celebrities are in the comments and people see that. Do you feel like Essence gets the celebrity support that you guys, like when I watch this docuseries and I see like, you know, everything that you guys did with like Vanessa and like, you know, during her time when she was going through everything with the new photos and how she really thanked you guys and she's on stage thanking you guys and everyone had to attribute it back to you guys because you gave her the cover when no one would touch her. Do you feel like the celebrities now prioritize Essence as that beacon platform the way that they should?
Loaded question. So it's twofold, right? I know that there is an outcry, especially when we're covering red carpets, right? There was a whole movement that Jason Lee started from Hollywood Unlocked of like, our Black celebrities not prioritizing Essence or Black-owned media when they're on the red carpets, and they're beelining to People magazine or the other magazines because of the reach that they might have, where these are the outlets that were supporting them whether they were hot or not. So that's one side of it. But then there's also the side when we made the call to action for celebrities to come to the table to tell this story, there was no shortage of people that jumped at it. Like we have Holly Berry, we have Sheryl Lee Ralph, we have Oprah, we have Whoopi, like just Sunny Hostin, such great names that came out and jumped at the chance to help tell the story and the legacy of this. And then we have red carpets like the Met Gala, where it's like people running to us because they know we know who they are. They know we're going to pronounce their names right. They know that we're actually going to interview them and run the interview. You know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like it's a little bit of a mix. I do think that there is still, you know, a need to have Black media, Black-owned media out there for that very reason, because we are ride or die for our community. We're ride or die for our Black celebrities 100%. So that is important. So I think it's always going to be a work in progress.
Got you. And I know Essence Fest is your baby. And then you know, helping develop the numbers at Essence Festival. You guys go viral Essence Festival for a lot of reasons. One of the bigger conversations. One of the bigger conversations that I thought was a very needed conversation was when Janelle Monáe and Meg Thee Stallion were on stage and the whole twerking thing went down and Diary and all these people got
Laura,
involved.
You gotta hit me with this. You gonna hit me with this?
The only reason I'm bringing it here is because, again, I feel like you sit in that point of understanding where Diary is coming from, but also like, you know, us, the new girls that are here, we have our whole new like push of like, we should be able to express ourselves too. And we love that Essence will support us and allow us to do that. And that's empowering for us. Yeah. More so on my first thought is like, when you see something like that happen, what is your first reaction? Is it like, oh my God, this is going to put us in a position to have to, you know, talk about this forever? Or do you feel like what Ari brought up, you know, the conversations that happen online following it, it really made people go back and look at Essence Festival and the history of it? Does that forward the movement? Or do you feel like that backpedals what we're trying to do? Because, you know, we're brought up like what happens in the house stays in the house.
Listen, all conversation and discourse is good. So I'm not going to say I'm siding with either side, but what I will say, I put a comment in on that video that went viral, and people are coming after me. So don't come after me. This is my opinion. This is nothing new. Like, what was the dance to back that thing up when Juvenile's joint hit? All these same people. That's all I'm saying.
What y'all was doing at what y'all was doing at the Freaknik?
Why is everybody so scared of Freaknik? So here's the thing. I think there always needs to be balance. Yes. That's the thing. I think all of these platforms are great. All these platforms where it's just like, things that we care about, we know where to go. Like if I want some tea and some like juicy, I'm going to the shade room. If I want to feel powerful and uplifted and celebrated, I'm going to Essence. I think Black women are not a monolith. And what Essence Festival, what happened this year, and the biggest story was Meg Thee Stallion, but we had so many other moments. So many other great and empowering moments. And that moment was empowering too. It just depends on whose lens is looking at it. You know what I mean? I think that the focus is just that. There's something for everyone. And I don't think that this is signifying that there's a new Essence and we're turning a different direction. No, because doing the butt, when did doing the butt come out? Like, what is the dance to that? It's always been around. There's always been an older generation wagging their finger at, oh, look at these young kids nowadays. And I think it's just making sure that there is balance. Like Essence Festival is not 100% twerking. Like we have a whole stage dedicated to empowerment.
No, but it really, for me, I think it's one of those things is like when you get a chance to talk to someone who has been so prominent in culture and, you know, whole space like you do, like and I think a big part of me in deciding to step away from platforms I was formerly at was just like being able to have conversations like this. And, you know, it's coming from like a real place for me, especially because I went to Essence Festival. And my first time there, I was like, why don't more people why haven't I been here? It felt like the biggest family reunion. It was the hug I needed at the time. I left feeling like, bro, I'm not just the Black girl at this, you know, prominently white space. I'm a needed voice in a space, you know what I mean? So more so that conversation, but back to the series more directly.
Yes.
The final episodes, all of the series in general, I learned so much. I'm glad to hear that schools are going to start, you know, talking about this as well too. When when this came about, what was the biggest thing for you that you wanted people to, once they turned off their TVs, what conversation did you want to happen in the household?
Woo, this is so good. This program is multi-generational. So I'm really, really glad that you brought up household. I watch week over week with my mom and my 5-year-old daughter.
Me and my mom watching tonight. I watched by myself and I told my mom today, I want us to watch this together.
It is something that you watch together because everybody feels like Essence is theirs. That's why there's so much emotion around, like, oh, what's Essence doing? Everybody feels like this magazine belongs to them, and it does. This brand belongs to our community. So having everyone leave episode after episode, growing even more of an affinity to it, but then have the call to action that the whole entire community is a part of the 6th episode. Like, Loren, you are a part of the 6th episode. Everything that you are doing over there is a part of the 6th episode. And I think that's really, really important because we plan to be around for the next century and the century after that. So for people to be left with that, I think that is the most important thing.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love that.